Thank you for tuning in to the Driving Podcast. Today we're going to talk about the limitations of location. This is going to follow up on a couple other videos that I have done about choosing the right location for your farm. And it's going to be based on the resources available to you that you need if you're a farm owner. I was reading an article today on the horse about the state of our large animal veterinary care, specifically horse care, because hello, the horse. So if you think horse care veterinarians are in short supply, try large animal in general. It's even more scarce. If you're one of these folks that have decided I'm owning a small homestead and I have a job that is remote work, I can work anywhere in the world or in the country that I want. Thanks to Elon's Starlink satellite internet, you can pretty much work anywhere you deem necessary. You can be totally off-grid, get yourself a farm somewhere in the middle of nowhere. Here's the problem. You need resources to run a farm. You cannot be self-sufficient entirely, and the biggest resource that you need is health care for your animals. The article I was reading, I will post it in the show notes below, stated that 45% of the large animal veterinary population is over the age of 50, and of that percentage, 25% of the entire veterinary care profession is looking to close up shop. Veterinary practices at this moment, especially large animal, they can't even hire veterinarians right now. So if you are looking to start a farm and you are going to have any sort of livestock on that farm, you need a vet. You need a vet for, at bare minimum, the drugs you need to keep your animals happy and healthy and comfortable. In June of 2023, all over-the-counter antibiotics are now going to be prescription required. The reason for that is how many strains of bacteria we have out there that are fully resistant to the antibiotics we currently have available to us. In an effort to combat resistance, all antibiotics will no longer be available unless you have a veterinarian prescribe it. To have a veterinarian prescribe you any antibiotic, even if you just call them up and say, hey, I need this, they need to see your farm and your animals at bare minimum once a year. They need to have that veterinarian-patient relationship, and that means physically getting to you. You're also going to need veterinarians if you are moving animals across state lines. So if you are breeding and selling animals, they do require paperwork. If you are getting them to an auction, they are going to require paperwork. If you are going to supply anything in the food chain, you're going to need a veterinarian. There are none. We are just literally not able to produce enough veterinarians. Why do we have a shortage? Boy, this turned into a totally different topic. Who cares? I'm going with it. Do you realize that when the recession in the 2000s, so we're talking 2005 to 2009, people stopped, God, I'm gonna get hate mail for this. People stopped breeding. They didn't have kids. So right now, there's not enough young people even attempting to get into college. There is a huge drain. Every college on the planet is just starting this, where there are literally not going to be enough applicants to fulfill enrollment. Every college is going to be fighting for every applicant that they can get. You're going to watch a bunch of them go underwater. You're going to watch a bunch of them not be able to offer degrees that they used to because there's just literally not enough people enrolled. Compound that with we desperately have brain drain. The cost of getting a veterinarian degree is about $500,000 and a ton of schoolwork. And if you're lucky, you're going to make $100,000 a year, if you're lucky, once you graduate. I don't know about you, that's not good math. You should make a year what your education costs you. Huge gap in the ability to acquire the education that you need to do your job and the reality of what you're going to get paid in that job. Add on to that the fact that these poor folks are on call 24/7, 365, and getting a break is pretty rare. So you're getting burnout. It's scary on what's going to happen in the next 10 years when the lack of people in this country are going to cause a huge problem. All right, get me off this soapbox. So what's my point? Limitations of location is what the topic of this one was. So be cautious of where you are going to have your farm if you're just starting out, or even if you have a piece of property right now. What are the resources available to you? How many veterinarians do you have in your location? I honestly recommend having a bare minimum of 2. That way, if one of them cannot respond to you in an emergency, you have a backup. And yeah, you're going to pay for it. But when your livelihood is based on the care of an animal and that animal is suffering, you need them. Work on your own education. I actually went and got my veterinary technician license. I am licensed. It helps me with talking to my own veterinarians and their confidence in me to be able to resolve the issues on my own and to talk me through things over the phone versus them having to come out. They also know that if I call them at 2 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday, that it damn well is an emergency and that I didn't make that call lightly. Access to mentors. A lot of people have either a backyard farm or there's very large dairy farms around us. Having this many farms in a dense location also increases the chances of having good veterinary staff around us. Veterinarians don't necessarily want to drive 2 hours for one customer and then have that customer complain that their bill's too high. So check your availability. Do your research on your supply chain. I think that's going to wrap it up. So points to take away. If you're just starting out and you're looking for a location, pay attention to what your resource availability is. So make sure you have access to good veterinary care, good hay supply, good equipment supply. Best of all, and highly recommend a mentorship. And I don't mean social media. Go find a farm. Make a friend with a farmer. We're more than happy to help others. It's who we are. If we didn't like helping others, we wouldn't have a farm in the first place, because the end result of owning a farm is caring for something else other than yourself. There you have it. I hope this hit a chord. I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry it wasn't fun and happy and it was more on a serious note. We'll go back to our normal crazy self on the next one. So take care, have a good day, and we'll see you next time.